All right. Wait a minute. I just realized you're wearing a white beater.
Yeah.
That's why it's so bright over there.
Yeah. You're wearing a white t-shirt, so.
I know, but your skin's glowing. But anyway, we'll throw off the title for the intro. So it's your turn to do the intro, sir.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to Two Veterans, Two Brothers, Two Views, an open discussion stream brought to you by RUM-Gaming Live. I'm your host, Dragon Lord, and my other host here, Big Texas Goat.
Co-host.
We are on episode 12 today.
Yep.
And that's pretty exciting. Do we have any kind of announcements before we get started? Anything we want to talk about?
Just me and this resin printer are going to get in a fight later. But, yeah.
You're still having issues with it, huh?
Yeah. I don't understand what the issue is. But at first I thought it was, because I took the screen, so it has a screen protector just like your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I took it off because I thought it wasn't supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I guess to backtrack, it was having problems before that. I thought it was because of that, so I took that off. And then come to find out I need that, so I got a replacement. So I put that on. Well, then I was having a light leak because it uses somebody described it. It's like a filter, like a UV filter.
Mm-hmm.
Protector cover? I don't know what you call it. Like it's part of the glass.
Right.
But you can still technically peel it off. You're just not supposed to.
Right.
Well, I had two corners because I thought it was starting to peel because of a resin leak I had early on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, like, what is this? Like, I didn't realize that was supposed to be there. So, like, picked off the corner and I realized, like, that's kind of attached. Like, all right, I'll just leave that alone before I break something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still peeled off, like, the size of an eighth of an inch or 16th of an inch of a corner off of two corners.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time I would try to print something, I would just end up with two sticks right where those corners are. Because apparently it was forcing, like it's called a light leak. So it wasn't being filtered evenly across the entire LCD. It was just all getting pushed out of those two corners that I peeled off.
Right.
I'm like, well, great. All right. So I figured out that I can use the same tape I used to seal the screen protector. I can use to block light.
Mm-hmm.
So I fixed the light leaks basically and tried printing again. And now instead of two sticks, I just get nothing. So I'm like,
interesting.
Great. So I fixed the light leak. Still have the same problem. And it's both more frustrating and I don't know, more frustrating than the regular FDM printer. At least the FDM printer, you can see the problem. You're just trying to figure out how to stop it from doing that.
Yeah.
Like, here, I can't see the problem. I just know nothing is happening.
Right.
So it's really frustrating when, like, I can't even, like, make my own assessment. You know, like, when you look at the FDM printer and it's, like, it's not making, you know, that first layer of adhesion. You're like, oh, okay, maybe I need to increase the temperature. Maybe I need to rub a glue stick on it. You know, maybe it's just this filament. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, if it's, you know, leaving too many gaps, you're like, oh, okay, it's, you know, that's, you know, again, it could be a heating problem or something, or not coming out of your nozzle. Like you got a clog in your nozzle, so it's not putting enough material out of it. You can kind of make your own troubleshooting trial by error with an FDM burner. Here it's either making something or it's not.
Yeah.
And I don't understand enough about the technology to troubleshoot very much.
Well, hey, if there's anybody watching or anybody that watches the videos, leave in the comments, type in chat if y'all have any ideas, any experience. We'd be very grateful for the information.
Oh yeah, actually I have a picture I could show you the light leak I was talking about.
Yeah, let's see it.
Thought I put it on the desktop. No, I uploaded it. Hang on. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Well, Open image, new tab. Oh god, that's big. Bang. So these two corners on the top right and top left, that's where I peeled off this like film that goes over the glass. And this is what it looks like whenever it like does a layer. So like if you were to make like a circle in the middle,
Right.
it would do one layer of the circle. It'll project a layer of that circle up against the bottom of the glass, and then it shines the UV light. And I guess it's like wherever it's projecting, it allows it to cure, and wherever it's not projecting, it won't cure. So that's kind of why it was curing those two little corners, because there was nothing stopping it from curing right there.
Right.
So, I don't know. My next guess is this was a cleaner, I think. Yeah, so this is like it attempting to cure the entire bed. I guess what I need to do next is just like take the tank off of there and try and print an object and see if I can actually like see it projecting, because it's almost like it's not projecting anymore. Like, and I fear that if you look on the bottom of this, I don't know if I can zoom in a little bit. Down here is where from here to here is the like, what do you call it? The chip slot,
Right.
like little flexible wire.
Yeah.
And the resin, when I took this all apart, that resin leak I had, it actually seeped down onto these connectors. And so I'm kind of worried that
may have cured and cut a connection
well,
somewhere.
it was still wet. It didn't cure, but depending on how far it leaked down, who knows what it did. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be a weird trial by error that I can't visually see, so it makes it harder to trial and error.
Well, hopefully we can figure something out and get it up and running again.
Yeah, in the meantime, I'm going to have to try and get the other printer leveled out and start using that one, because I got at least one order I'm behind on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. With that out of the way, we come to our topic. Our topic today is going to be a continuation of last week. I was really, really having a good time talking about, tactics and skills for the zombie apocalypse, and I thought, if you follow us on social media, you'll already know. But I thought it would be fun to do a little exercise of, because we had talked about, in length about, if you were scavenging, what would you pick up? What would you take with you? But we never really touched on what you would have with you just from the start. What's in the bug out bag. So, I put together a list, or I put together a task for both myself and Big Texas Goat to imagine that we had a $1,000 Amazon gift card. And so if, using items only found on Amazon, including the purchase of the bag that you were going to carry these things in, what would you bring with you using $1,000, right? For your bug out bag. So I think it'll be fun to talk about that a little bit, and then maybe, discuss each item, or, interject where we feel necessary.
Don't mind the screen for a second. I'm trying to see if I can make this where everybody can like watch along.
What do you mean?
I was gonna make it working, because you can just share your screen, but me, I have to like do it differently.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna cover up my camera and show. Jesus. Actually, do that instead. Let's do display. Oh, that's right. That display is capturing you. I forgot. I need another display capture. New one. So that way I can show you my list when you can talk about it with your camera, and then we can flip it and do the other way.
Or you can show your list and you can talk about it, and I can show my list and I can talk about it.
Yeah. God, this is gonna be terrible. I was not prepared for this. Oh God. I can't see it though. That's the problem. Oh, because it's still on your monitor. Alright. This is a terrible plan. It's gonna take me 10 years to figure this out. We'll just... Or if you can send me your wish list, then I can project it just in the middle of the screen and we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll have the prices here, and I can just send you the wish list. Send list to others. View only. Copy link. Bing, bang,
I'm gonna
boom.
put mine over here.
There you go.
Right here. I can do this. There you go. So you can still see you in the list. It's a little bit small, but
Okay.
all right. So
All right. So we'll go through. I guess we'll go through your list first, and yeah, see what we got.
So it was definitely kind of a challenge because depending on how you looked at it, where I'm like, we didn't really have a time, because I can't talk at work to really thoroughly discuss the parameters. But I treated it as I literally am not going to grab anything else from my house. I have to have everything in this bag. So regardless that I have some of these things already or might bring additional items, like let's say we keep this at a dead drop location in town, and that's what this bag is for.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I approached it is like, shit's going down right now. You don't have time to grab things, but you have a bag in the attic or in the garage, prepared, already packed up, ready to go. You're grabbing that bag and you're getting the fuck out.
Yeah. I don't know. I still prefer the dead drop location, because even if shit's hitting the fan, I'm going to grab like an extra wrench, an extra knife, a bottle of water, something, a bag of jerky.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was my first constraint. I was like, okay, let's just say I got time to get dressed in whatever I want to wear and then go to my dead drop location and grab this bag. Because that was the other thing. I was like, well, should I put like a whole outfit in there? Like, ideally, I'd want some nice, like, comfortable, long-lasting hiking boots or something, but I don't own any.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if it's the zombie apocalypse, I'm sure I could find a shoe store and get some shoes down the road. But same thing with like a hat, I'd like to have like a...
Yeah, I mean, so like the way that I see it is like you can have like what's on your person and then whatever's in your bag. So like for me, for example, there's not a pocket knife in my bag because I've got one in my pocket. Yeah. I
didn't put a pocket knife in mine, but we'll get to that. So this list isn't, just Amazon's order, no particular order of priority or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same for mine.
The first thing on here was a little... I didn't get a lot of time to really research this radio, but it looks like you can pick up like shortwave radio channels as well. So it's like a shortwave, like walkie-talkie, and AM, FM, and recharger. It has a crank on it, so you can crank charge it, a solar panel, so you can solar charge it, or you can put batteries in it.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
And has a flashlight on it. So it has light, radio, recharging, hand crank, solar power. Like, very universal tool.
Neat.
Granted, it's only $34, so I don't know how long it's going to last. But it's a pretty handy tool.
Yeah, sure. It'll last as long as you need it to.
Yeah. I mean, my hopes, is as long as I take care of it, it'll last a good while. But at least... we'll say, at least for the first 6 months, I'm not going to be scrounging looking for batteries for my flashlight like I'll have this thing. I'd like to theorize this thing could last at least 6 months.
Yeah.
Next was when I had to get my second choice due to the budget constraints. I wanted the real simulated poncho liner from the military.
Yeah.
But the poncho liner was like $34, and it put me just barely over budget. So I had to go find an alternative for like $4 cheaper. My original total was like $1,060. I was like, dang it! It's like I gotta start making cuts.
Yeah.
So even like this flashlight, the original one was like 38. Found this one on sale for 34. The poncho liner was like 34. Got it down to 30.
Yeah.
But I like that one. To a certain extent, you want a little bit of comforts in life. This thing can be multi-purposely used as a pillow, an extra knapsack to carry things, to give you shade when you're in the sun and whatnot, or keep you warm depending on which time of year the apocalypse starts.
Yeah.
One thing you learned in the army is like your poncho liner is like your most universal tool.
Oh yeah, I miss my poncho liner. Mine got soaked in jet fuel, and so all the elastic just started to fucking give out on it and disintegrate. So I had to throw it out.
Well, that's definitely in there. Multi-useful tool. After last week's discussion, I got fishing hooks on here.
Yeah.
So it was 500 fishing hooks. Some of them ain't catching me the biggest fish, but still.
Yeah. Good for any kind of body of water you may find yourself near.
Yeah. And like we were talking about, I don't really feel like making my own out of a pop can top. So I'm like, all right, here I am. I'm good for, we'll assume 500 fish if I'm the most unluckiest person in the world.
Yeah.
But that was another one I had to like make price cuts on, but it actually worked out. My first one was only like 150 hooks for like $10, and then I found this one and I was like, oh well, some of these are smaller, but I get more of it for a cheaper price.
Yeah, you definitely got a little bit more frugal with yours than mine. I kind of went a little balls to the wall, and then initially, and then kind of saw where I was at, and then toned it down from there to make it fit.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Some of my things are.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
Much more up there. So.
Me too.
All right, next.
Hydrate. Son of a bitch, Ben.
I already did, but I'll do it again. Only one of us has to do it unless he does two of them.
I'll do it.
Yeah, because you're right. I mean, how else are you going to go?
Yeah.
All right. So next is these cool little things, emergency food rations. 2,400 calories per bar. They take up like no space.
So far, our lists are pretty simple.
Yeah. Now, granted, there's another one I had to make a cut on. I had originally a 24 count box of these, but I had to drop down money, so I had to drop down to just the 12 count.
Yeah.
But I'm like, these are like, I think they have like a 5-year shelf life or something.
Yeah,
like,
and you could, and if in a pinch, you could really ration out one bar to last like a whole day if you really needed to.
Oh, more than a day. Shit.
Well, yeah.
But these are going to be like bottom of the bag. I haven't found food in 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat half of one of these bars and then go back to scavenging.
That's the emergency food fund right there. Yep.
Next, this is my compromise to the hammer hatchet. Has a big, wide head on it. It's a 3-pound axe and sledge.
Okay.
So not too big. It's only 17 inches. I wanted a little bit of reach still in case I got to go, Rick Grimes and go hatchet to zombie.
Yeah.
But strong enough to still be able to chop through some decent wood or doors or whatever I got to get through. Yeah. Light enough to be able to just carry on my belt.
Yeah.
And durable enough with the whole, fiberglass and whatnot. And then we got the good old fashioned Gerber.
Yeah, okay.
Multi-tool for, everything.
Whatever, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And that was kind of my compromise to the pocket knife. I'm like, I do have pocket knives around the house, but I'd much rather have this than a pocket knife.
Yeah, sure.
It's going to be handy for your fishing, repairing, if anybody's ever had a Gerber in the military.
Oh, yeah.
Like shit.
Oh, yeah. And in the military, those aren't hard to come by. You could just ask your LSs if you're good with them and be like, hey, give me a Gerber. Okay.
Yeah, they're issued out. So.
Yeah.
It's like between that and your poncho liner, I don't know what's more useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, here's my first big ticket item: the $240 backpack.
Ooh, you went expensive with
My
yours.
no, my
Okay.
original backpack was like $400. It was the upgraded version of this one.
Okay.
But
You went
again,
pricey with the backpack. All
no,
right.
I went with long term. I Googled some research of like best mountaineer backpacks because I'm like, I want something that's going to last. I want it to be comfortable. I want to be able to weigh it down and not hurt myself.
Yeah.
Like, so I did the research and this was the number one brand, Osprey. And then had a pocket life. Oh, pocket knife that had a fire starter in it too. That
Oh
just
yeah,
sounds dangerous.
a pocket knife that has a fire starter. I can go get it too. I've got it.
But yeah,
Babe, will you go get that for me?
but that's what I was talking about, Ben. Like, if you're gonna carry, like, if I'm gonna be hiking hundreds of miles for the next 6 months, I want it to be comfortable. And
Yeah.
with the whole mountaineering thing, I figured that's gonna be much more long lasting. So yeah, that's why I said it's like if I'm gonna drop some money on something, it's gonna be my most useful item, the thing that carries all my items.
Yeah.
Uh, is almost the biggest one. The biggest, like, they go by liters, and the biggest ones you get is a 70 liter up to like 75, and this one was like
Hmm.
68. So it's still one of the bigger options.
Yeah. So this is the pocket knife that I have. It's pretty cool. It's got a little detachable flashlight that fits into it. It's got, a sparker, fire sparker.
Once you prove it starts a fire,
I just did. You didn't see the spark on the camera?
that's not proof that it starts a fire. It's a proof that you're a magician.
Yeah. And then it's a fairly. It's got a bottle opener on it and a seatbelt cutter
Nice.
and a glass break on the tip.
I'll just use my sledgehammer axe to
Yeah.
break it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's a really really useful little
yeah.
handy thing to have.
So next is the weapon. Went ahead and picked up the spear slash
Okay.
walking stick.
Okay. That's something that I did not pick up. I can't believe I didn't think about it.
Yep, I said that's where some of my money was going.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
getting $6 fishing hooks, but a $76 martial arts spear.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't get a spear, but I do I'm equipped.
okay.
We'll see when we get to.
Then my fire starter. And I was gonna put a couple of these in a bag, but they're so small. But this is like the number one recommended long-lasting fire starter.
Yeah.
It's like ideally, I'd like to put like 6 of these in my bag. That way, I never have to worry about it.
Hmm.
Next, the water purification tablets we were talking about.
Yeah.
A couple little bottle of these, throw those in there. It's 100 tablets. So
Yeah.
in case I can't find water and gotta make do.
Yeah. Of course. I have yet to see a single thing on your list that's the same as what I have, so I'm interested.
Right, now we got a first aid kit. I went with more of a trauma kit. So this one has the tourniquet, the splint roll, the knife, scissors. I think it even has another little fire starter in there. But I didn't want to go standard first aid, like, band-aids and shit. I
Yeah.
want to this is like I fucked some shit up or somebody got fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a field medic, kind of.
Yeah. So that's what I went with that. Unfortunately, the price was shockingly expensive on this. Like, at least, looking for kits. It was, I'm sure if ideally, I'd probably just build one myself. Probably the same amount of money, but it would have more of the things I would actually like in it. But as far as just a pre-made kit, this was the best one I could find. Yeah. Yeah. If I have a small problem, that's why I got to roll a duct tape, which I actually don't even have on this list. But not like that's hard to find either. Next, though, is like some kind of like 550 cord. Just a braided cord, 50-pound capacity, 100-foot braided cord.
Yeah.
That's kind of,
line.
yeah, just kind of
Yeah.
good multi-use kind of item. We talked about using fishing string, but I was like, honestly, if I'm trying to like say,
Yeah, I mean, paracord ranks king over fishing line any
yeah,
day of the week.
for a lot of reasons, if I'm trying to make snares or traps or anything like that, or
I mean, you can make fishing line out of paracord. It's been done before.
well, yeah, but if I'm trying to like, barricade a door, I could tie this around the knobs and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
or if you're trying to, build like a lean-to shelter or something.
Yeah,
then
with my poncho
tie some
liner.
stuff together. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I figured I'd throw a roll of that in there. This one for making my axe and spear and stuff last longer. This is a cool little pocket sharpening stone. It's a
That's pretty neat.
little round sharpening stone, so I can always, when I'm sitting there at night, nothing to do, make my fucking tools keep going.
Yeah.
Got to be able to crack those skulls with these.
Yeah,
Can't have no dull axe.
I thought about putting like a whetstone of some sort in here, but I didn't have the budget, and there wasn't anything that I felt comfortable enough cutting out of the list to put it in there, so I did not bring one.
Yeah, like I threw everything on the list and then went back afterwards to see what I needed to cut.
Yeah.
So this just happened to squeeze in there. Yeah, and I wanted something like I didn't want to have a full blown whetstone because like if I'm throwing the bag around, it can get broken. So when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, this is perfect! A little round stone goes in a little pouch. Like it's perfect."
Yeah.
Next high dollar item, crossbow with a $340 deer hunting crossbow.
Ooh, okay.
Along with some extra arrows for it because it only comes with 2. So got a 20 pack of arrows for $30.
Yeah.
Crossbows I don't really know anything about. I went off of like reviews and use.
Yeah. So, I mean, what kind of tips do those arrows come with? Are they just like training tips, or did you buy tips for them?
No, they're full. They come with tips. You can see them in the picture there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, look at that.
And then fishing string.
And
fishing line.
with the right kind of equipment that you may find, or may or may not find, you could turn that into like a bow fishing crossbow type deal.
Well, yeah, that's what I was like. Still, with the paracord or the fishing line, I could potentially, like you said, turn it into bow fishing.
Yeah.
I keep getting these pop-ups. Next, since I don't know if I'm gonna have a pocket knife, I got a little knife set.
Sure.
Again, $20 knife might not last me the longest time, but with the budget, I wanted something that I'd be able to skin things with, and worst case scenario, have an additional zombie killing tool.
Yeah.
See, I thought about the rock thing. I was like, yeah, if I had to cut it, I was going to say I could still just find rocks and do just fine with that.
Yeah.
But with that being a nice little pocket-sized thing to just throw in the bag, I was like, yeah, I'll hang on to that. Because you never know if you're going to find the right rock.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I guess if I found a handheld rock, I could just put the damn rock in my bag later.
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be something fairly smooth, but
yeah. Get little glow sticks to find them. To find what?
The arrows.
Oh, like the little bitty glow sticks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like though I would, if I were to do anything, I'd rub luminescent paint on them or something. Maybe like because if you glue like a glow stick to it, you're gonna throw it off balance.
Yeah.
Next is my bed. I got this 400-pound capacity hammock with mosquito net screen on it.
Yeah.
Because I figure you always see on like The Walking Dead and everything, like they're always just like sleeping on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like I ain't just sleeping on the ground everywhere. There's so many things that can just kill you in your sleep. Get bit by some snake or scorpion or something.
Yep.
It's like if I got my little, paracord perimeter alarm, I'll hear the zombies before they can eat me in my hammock.
Yeah.
But at least there, the bugs and the critters are staying off of me. I really wanted to get the one that came with like a canopy, but that one cost a little extra money. It was like $50 for those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same thing in a tree. There's bugs in the tree, snakes in the tree. And then last thing on my list, good old canteen with a cup.
Okay, that's the last thing on your list.
Yeah.
My list is much more expansive than yours is. Then
I
okay.
mean, well, yeah, because I got those, $300 something crossbow and
Yeah.
a $300 backpack. Like,
Yeah, you could use the poncho liner as a little canopy for your hammock.
yeah, yeah. But if it's cold, then I
Yeah.
just meant like as far as like keeping rain off of me or snow.
Yeah.
But beggars can't be choosers. So,
Yeah. Canteen in a cup. I like it. Basic, simple.
yeah, because I wanted to have a nice reusable water source because water bottles are great, but they're also weak.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing on that list that I particularly disagree with. Um,
Yeah, my few hideout items though kicked me where I couldn't have an extensive list. The
yeah,
the
I mean,
crossbow, the spear, and the backpack.
I think objectively looking at your list, I think the thing that I probably wouldn't really care too much about is the little, radio that you have.
Yeah, that honestly came because of the recent episodes of Fear the Walking Dead we're watching. They're like communicating via like shortwave radio and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And they were setting up these supply boxes that are like, take what you need, leave what you don't. And they started running an additional note of if you need help, tune into this channel.
yeah.
And I was like, man, like, how shitty is that going to be for the people that don't, who the fuck's walking around with a goddamn shortwave radio everywhere they go?
Yeah, yeah.
So I wanted a way to incorporate both. I like the idea of like, either a little like wind up or shake bowl or solar powered flashlight or something like a reusable flashlight. I also like the idea of like a radio because in a lot of the shows you hear them, listening to broadcast and stuff for information at least early on. Because again, first 6 months that radio might be useful as shit just hearing what's going on around the world.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, with the cost, I don't really estimate that thing lasting me longer than 6 months. But I feel like in the first 6 months, it might be crucial to have that rechargeable light, recharge like, any USB device I might still have a need for or something like until the actual phone towers and shit get taken down.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm pretty sure after 6 months, that thing's going to be a broken piece of shit left on the side of the road.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a crucial piece of hardware for the first 6 months. So, well, there's probably some more long-lasting things I could swap out that $34 for. I'd still stick with it.
Yeah.
But it was the one that I was like, God, this thing is not going to last. Like, I should probably put something more long-lasting on here. But I was also trying to do it at work, and I'm not even supposed to browse to other websites at work. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my most impressive thing on here was finding these ration things. Those are pretty cool to find.
I think you're gonna enjoy my list when we start going through it.
Yeah. Any other comments about mine? Anything you would?
No, I mean I feel like if you'd have done a little bit more looking, you could have found some items that had a little bit more of a multi-use. But overall, I think it's a solid list. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just throwing it together at work,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if I were to
a lot of similarities to mine. I will say that a lot of similarities to mine.
let's say if I legit had $1,000 gift card, I'd probably spend the next 20 hours fine tuning the list with the way I research things.
Yeah.
But for a simulation, I wasn't going to put hours into it.
Yeah. I mean, I slapped this list together in like 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, anybody makes a donation, I guarantee you we'll have 2 or 3 streams talking about it before I make a dedicated purchase.
Yeah.
All right, so where'd you send me yours at?
Discord.
All right, I'm going to have to close you and pull it up real quick.
Okay.
Get back here. Bam. Bam. All right, so you're there. Yeah, I have no way of covering up myself, so we're going to have to go back to taking up half of your real estate.
That's fine.
All right, so.
All right. So my list, again, in no particular order, yours is different than mine for some reason. Hold on, let me see if I can correct that. Okay. All right. Okay. So I have the list in the same order as yours now. So first thing on this list, um, I got a camping tent.
Yep.
Again, like a hammock. This one I found for
Damn.
$90. It's got a cover on it, a mosquito net. It's got stakes to kind of hold things down and
I am
wrap around the
immediately
tree.
curious where the rest of your money went since you managed to spend 90 on what I
Yeah,
spent 30.
I I found having the covering over the mosquito net to be crucial. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
okay spending the extra money.
That was the first one on mine that I had to
Yeah,
make cuts. So.
yeah. The second item that I got on there is for $46.99. Oh, by the way, the grand total of this list came out to $995.55.
Three
So I've got
dollars cheaper
five.
than mine.
Yep. So the next thing I have on my list here is it's a field dressing kit. It's got scissors, fillet knives, hooks. It's designed for butchering game and fish and things like that. So it's got all the knives. It's got a little hatchet in there as well. So this is what I would use if I were to say kill a deer, to skin it,
Yeah,
carve it up,
the more
whatever the case
advanced
may be.
version of my two Bowie knives.
Right. Yeah. Um. So this one, the next item I have is some arrowheads. Um, that's 16.99. It's a 12 pack. I put three of them on the list, 3 packs of it, so 36 total. Um,
Is that are they $17 for 12 of them?
I I could have sworn when I added it to the list I put okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay,
change the
so okay,
quantity when you add it
it
on.
doesn't change the quantity, but on the actual cart, it's still. I have all of this in the cart with their proper quantities,
Ah,
so it comes in under budget.
okay.
So it doesn't reflect it on the actual wish list, but on the card it reflects
But
there are
still,
three
it's
sets.
$17 for 12.
Yes, $17 for
Jeez,
12.
that's crazy. I
Um,
had $30 for what was it 20 full arrows.
yeah. And then below that one I have arrows. They are two-piece takedown arrows, so they screw together to make a long regular size arrow. Also a 12 pack. I got three of
Jeez,
those. So 36
how?
arrows.
That's $40 for 12.
Yeah.
You spent $120 on just arrows.
Yeah.
Well, no, more than that, because you also spent 40, what, 6 on the
Yeah.
arrowheads. So you spent like
Yeah.
160 on 36 arrows.
Yes.
And I spent $30 on 20 arrows.
Yep.
The fuck are
Below that,
you?
I've got a 3-pack roll of duct tape.
Okay.
60 or 55 yards, 3 rolls of duct tape, 3M. 19.29 for the 3-pack. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory there.
Yeah.
Underneath that one, I have a fairly expensive fishing kit. It's a telescopic fishing pole. It's got a little kit, comes with line, a couple of little lures, the reel, everything. So it compacts down real small.
I almost got a small fishing rod, but then I thought about it's like, honestly, I could just
Oh,
use
you
a
know what?
stick.
There's actually the next one on the list is another telescoping rod, and I don't know why it's
Yeah.
on there. I should have removed it. So delete that one. I don't need that one.
Okay.
Skip it. The next one I got is a $15. It's a back arrow quiver, so place to put the arrows. And you already showed it right underneath there. I got a little a wrist guard for firing the bow. Because if you're not super experienced like I am in firing a bow, it slaps your wrist and it can rub it raw. It can get infected. It's just not good. So I wanted to protect against that. So I figured, $10, it'll help. It'll encourage me to use the bow more instead of wincing every time I try and shoot it.
Gotta build your calluses up, man.
That's right. And underneath that, we culminate all to a Black Hunter takedown recurve bow. It's a 35-pound draw. So this is a takedown bow, so it can be broken down into 3 separate parts: the 2 limbs and the handle.
See,
Again, compacts real nicely.
and I thought about going with an actual bow, but then I guess in my head I was like, I don't know. I feel
So
like the crossbow is more durable. to an
Yeah,
extent.
I mean, you're probably right. It's a lot more user friendly for sure. But I believe it or not, I've actually done research in the past about takedown bows, and this was one of the ones that very frequently got brought up as like one of the best, takedown bows that you can buy on Amazon as far as quality goes. There's a channel that I watch on YouTube. He went through like I think it was 6 or 7 of the most popular bows on Amazon and rated them all against each other. And this one came out with, the best stats as far as, accuracy of what they're advertising, speed of arrow, everything like that. Like he tested everything. And this one came out on top. So I was like, okay, that's the bow that I want. So I picked that one. Underneath it, I picked a little $23 terminal kit. It's got hooks, weights, beads, sinkers, swivels, just general, fishing terminal tackle to go with the fishing tools. Down below, I don't know why it's showing up like that. That's really weird.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's showing up for me because I forced it in dark mode. But anyway, the next item I have is I have some tactical gloves. I think to me, it was important to, be able to protect my hands and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt it to be semi-important. So I picked
I mean,
some
it
up,
can be.
$24.
I could see, again, that's where I was kind of on the fence of like, if I had this in my house, I have gloves like that around the house. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like I would
yeah,
just grab the gloves. I would grab my boots. I would grab a couple pocket knives. Like,
yeah. But I mean, I don't even have anything like that. So it's like,
I mean, you got mechanics gloves. I mean,
well, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't actually.
really?
I always used rubber gloves,
Huh.
just regular old fucking rubber gloves.
I got like
Um,
8 pairs of mechanics gloves.
yeah, Ben has it exactly right. Your hands are your most important tools that you have at your disposal. Keep them safe. Um,
Well, and you think,
un-
when you're fighting off close range zombies, like, you watching all these shows where they're like pushing them with their hands and shit. Like,
yeah,
one wrong move
exactly.
and you're getting your damn hand bit. Like,
Yeah. So it's important to me. Um, Next item on my list, going down, I found for $60. I thought this was pretty cool. It's a 22 fluid ounce water bottle that has a filtration system built into it,
yeah,
which I thought was really, really, really cool. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna add that. That's great to have. It comes with like a little carabiner, so you can hook it onto your belt. Um,
that's what I was just thinking. Like, how long is that filter going to be good for?
well, I thought about that, and we'll get to that later on in the list here. The next item, it's a Tinder putty. It's like
Fire gel.
yeah, kind of, but it's more substance. It's like clay almost. It's like a silly putty kind of, but it takes to spark very very well and burns for quite a while. So I use that to help start fires if I need to, anything like that. Uh,
That's where my canteen cup comes in. And my
yeah,
tablets.
yeah, and then underneath that, um, a 2-pack of fire starters for $10, and they've got little compasses on them too,
Yeah.
which is pretty helpful.
Yeah, mine was a little bit pricier for the starter, but again, I just went off of like best long lasting fire starter instead of cheapest options.
Yeah. Um. Okay. The next item I had is I put a tactical vest on there. I thought that was really, really valuable. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things that I would want to keep like on my person, and this has got a lot of pockets. It offers, pretty good protection.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good
so
call. I kind of like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, at the
So
same time, with the backpack, depending on the straps, you can hang a bunch of things right there. Not a bunch, not
yeah,
like that, but
yeah,
that would kind of come in handy because, like, I was thinking, like, down the line, I'm gonna have to like find basically a belt like that in order to hold the hatchet up very well or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Exactly. And that was kind of my thing. It's like I want to keep my hands free and have easy access to, my most common use things. And I felt like a tactical vest would probably be the best route to go. Um, Underneath that, I picked up a rapid rope canister. It's 120 feet of green flat tactical paracord. 1,100 pound test. It's got like a non-tangled dispenser. It's just like the paracord, really really good, but kind of condensed into this feeding tube type deal. Below that, I believe.
Get your little stove.
Yeah, it's a different one than the one I actually picked, though. The one on the wish list is different. It's the one that I actually picked is a little bit cheaper. But we'll for the for brevity here. I picked a little stove. The one that I ended up going with on the actual shopping cart was this one that's on the wish list is more designed for like those little chafer dish tabs.
Yeah.
The one that I found was cheaper. It's $17.99, and it's completely open on the bottom, so you could put like little chunks of wood and tinder and things underneath it and make it like a wood fire stove. And it's got like a grate over top removable grate that you can, grill something directly on it if you wanted to, or you could put a pot on it, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to have on mine. And again, if I were to take more time, I could probably save. Take my $340 crossbow and get something cheaper.
Yeah. The next item on here for $13.99, I found a solar-powered flashlight.
I had that exact flashlight on mine and then changed it to the radio.
It's a 1,000 lumen LED flashlight. It's got a solar panel right on the top of it.
So my problem with this one, there was actually another one I was going to look at, but this was the first one that popped up, is it looks like there's nothing protecting those solar panels, so it's going to get covered in like grit and dirt and sweat from your hand. So I was looking at the ones that actually had like a it was like
cover.
Like it was encased in something.
I wonder if this has like a little sliding door that goes over to it. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I didn't look. Just based on that picture, I went with the other one. That was like the similar price.
It has something that you can't see in that main picture there, but on the back side of it, under the solar panel, it's got like a little spotlight LED.
Let's see.
You'll see it in the product description on the opposite side of the solar panel.
But you can see here, like that's just kind of
there's no covering for it. Yeah, it is fully exposed. I didn't think about that. That's a good thought, actually.
Yeah, that's why there was other ones over there was like a clear like tube that went over it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess theoretically, I would be aware of that, and I would try and hold it from the other angle if possible. The LED side instead of putting my hands directly all over the solar panel. But again, I feel like you could just wipe it off and it'll be fine. But anyway, next item, I got some water purification tabs. $30, a 100-pack of water purification tabs. So easy. Man, right there.
You got me really questioning how this is $1,000 though. Like,
I can give you the price breakdown,
but we're not done yet. So
yeah. Underneath that, I got a little, cooking cup, little cook cup set. It's got 2 ceramic cups and a 24-ounce kettle. Vented lids. It's foldable. It's got like a little locking handle, so great for boiling water, whatever you need to cook in it.
Yeah.
Underneath that, I got some emergency food ration. For
the grizzly bear ones, yes, all those.
Yep, grizzly bear ones for $17.95. It's a 3-day supply, 3,600 calorie blueberry bars. So I figure again that's like kind of bottom of the bag. Like if I'm need food, I can have one maybe half of those bars and be good, and ration those out for a little while if need be.
So I went with price and quantity on mine. So that's why I got those other ones. There was 12 for basically the same price.
Yeah. Below that one, I got a 12. I think it's a 12-pack.
12 hours.
It's how many are in this?
Looks like 7.
It's a 100-pack.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's a 100-pack of just green glow sticks.
100-pack. How big are these things?
They look fairly big, like looking at the pictures.
Yeah, but 100? No, you think that'd be a big ass box? Let's see. Does it say how big they are? Yeah, it looks like a standard size glow stick.
Yeah. The item package dimensions is 8 inches by 5 inches by 3 inches on the box. So Not a very big box,
It
but
just seems like 100 wouldn't fit in there.
I mean, I don't know.
Hmm.
But that's what it says. 100
Yeah.
pack, 100 pack. The next item, again, the shopping cart and the actual list that came out. This changed because I had to make some price cuts. But same general idea. A compass, right? I feel like that's good to have.
Yeah.
Um,
I think one of my, I think it was like maybe that radio or something had a compass on it. One of the things had a compass, I
yeah.
think. But
Yeah, I mean, I originally before I started making cuts, I originally found a compass that had like it came with like a kit with like a map of every state, like it was like a full like navigation kit, which I thought was pretty cool. But it was just too expensive, and I was like, yeah, well, no, I'm not that worried about it. Um, Next on the list, I have it's a survival like multi tool essentially. It's got a shovel attachment. It's got a hatchet attachment. It's got a compass in it. The shovel has a blade and a saw blade on it. The hatchet itself has a hammer side and a sharp side. It's got a couple of screwdriver bits. It's got a little pocket knife, and it all kind of interlocks into itself. To make it longer.
see,
Um,
I thought about these, but I actually recently bought something like this and found out how small these shovels are, which I don't know if you looked at the dimensions of the shovel.
so the dimensions of the hatchet part on or the shovel is 32.47 inches long.
No, I'm talking about the
Fully.
blade part. It's like as big as your hand.
Well, yeah, sure, but actually, there's a spec on that. The actual blade of the shovel is 7.87 inches long. So and about 6 inches wide. So it's not
Hmm,
a small shovel. It'll
it's
dig.
interesting. It's bigger than the ones I was looking at. But I
Yeah,
bought one that was just, it was the collapsible shovel. And I was looking
yeah,
at like all these, like 100 of them. And
yeah,
they all kind of looked the same size. So when I bought the one and found out it was only like 4 inches wide, I was like, man, these are all 4 inches.
yeah, yeah. Next on the list, I was very concerned about being able to
Yeah.
have clean water, so I put an 8 pack of life straws on there. I just felt, just to have all of the bases covers when it comes to water. Like I don't want to have to worry about water for a long time. um, and then, so self-explanatory. Next on the list is the backpack. It's a 60-liter waterproof hiking backpack. $40 for this thing. I did do a little bit of research. I've actually seen a lot of. I watch a lot of camping stuff on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of the people that I've seen on YouTube use this very backpack. Um, so
Yeah. I mean, it's almost the exact same design as
yeah,
mine. Like, you look
but
at
it's
mine
way
versus
cheaper.
yours, it's like, man,
Yeah,
like same design. Makes you really wonder, like, how
what makes
something
it
like
so
this
special? Yeah,
compares to that. Because it's like, man, you
yeah,
could buy, you know, what, 6 of these or something, 5 of these. I don't know, math is
yeah.
hard, but yeah, you could buy like 5 of these for the price of mine.
Yeah, so I was like, I saw that backpack. I was like, done. I recognize it. I know a lot of people use it. That's what I'm going to use. And then the final item on the list, I put an IFAK in there. Just a simple IFAK, individual first aid kit.
Yeah,
It's got, the shears on it. It's got a whistle. It's got like a glass break thing. It's got antiseptic towelettes, gloves, eye patches, a light stick, a resuscitation device, bobby pins, gauze, band-aids, wound dressings, just your standard IFAK.
yeah.
And it had a thermal blanket in there, which I thought was pretty cool. So emergency blanket if
It's
need
got a
be.
lot of interesting things. You got an emergency whistle.
Yeah, you've got tweezers, cotton balls. There's gauze in there. There's like looks like a carabiner thing. Uh, yeah, pretty nifty.
It's interesting
Um,
because I like yours. God damn it. The only thing, like, once I saw the, zoom in on mine real quick. Granted, I know I can turn anything into a splint, But I really liked this like foldable, like aluminum padded splint maker,
Yeah.
and that's what really aimed my purchase when I was looking at all the kits. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
mean, looking at yours looks more like an AFAC than an IFAC.
yeah, mine's an emergency one.
Yeah. Okay.
But I really just wanted. I was looking for the best one that had something like that, a splint
Yeah.
making thing. Even though in hindsight, I'm like, honestly, I'd probably get yours because, again, you can make a fucking splint out of anything. Like, do I
Yeah.
really need a foldable
Yeah. I mean, I've got
splint
duct tape.
thing?
I've got duct tape, and I can find some sticks. You know.
Well, yeah. I was just thinking. I guess it'd be nice in the situation where I don't have to go look for something. When I pull out mine and you need a splint, boom, I already got it. I don't
Yeah.
have to hope I can find the right dimensions or anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm not doing a lot with mine. So,
Yeah.
shit. No.
But yeah, that's my list. And again,
Oh, that was the
the
last thing.
shopping cart is different than the wish list by a handful of items. Like I said, the fishing, not the fishing kit,
Yeah,
the
you had,
cooking stove and the compass are different and cheaper.
yeah.
And again, the price, including the 3 quantities of arrow tips and arrows, came out to $9.95.55.
See, I'm still really on the fence about the whole bow versus crossbow. Close that out. Because I don't have a lot of experience with really like manhandling either one of them. I can only base it
Yeah.
off of like watching shows and what few times I've actually handled them.
Yeah.
And it seems like a crossbow is a very rugged piece of equipment.
Yeah, and
Where-
they're typically heavy too.
Yeah. So that's what I liked about it. Is like I feel like that's going to last a long time. And as well as, if it falls off the back of the truck or I have to throw it on the ground to go back to melee or something, I'm not worried about it breaking in a sense.
See, I have to disagree with you because like a lot of these crossbows, the like pulley system on them isn't super hardy. Like I feel like dropping them might actually cause some damage to the mechanics of it. I know for a fact with my takedown bow, I could throw it on the ground and it's going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, I guess
You know?
when I was first thinking of bows, I was thinking compound bow or crossbow. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'd rather have a crossbow than a compound bow.
Yeah.
But looking at the takedown bow, it kind of changes my opinion on it where I'm like, well, I like so back to the main comparison for me though was durability, at least the initial quick shot, as well as not needing to have like a quiver. Because if I got like the little rack that can hold the arrows on the crossbow,
Yeah,
it's kind of a
but
2-in-1 thing.
You have to think about reload time too. Like
Well-
I can fire off probably 2 or 3 arrows in the time it takes you to shoot the one bolt.
Well, yeah. Well, not the one, but the second one, yes.
Yeah.
The one shot.
Well, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
before you can-
fire
before
off
you-
the second bolt, I can take off.
Yeah.
2
I
or
was,
3.
I was like, I'll fire my first one before you get your first arrow out of the quiver. But the second one, though, you'll be second, third zombie in while I'm sitting there going, hey, yeah.
It'll be like Legolas and Gimli, like 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
So that's why I want a bow because, yeah, when you're comparing just, zombie kill ratio, the bow is going to be immensely better. But I was thinking like, well, I'm going to have to have a fucking quiver and that's an extra fucking thing. But then I'm like, I can honestly probably like attach a quiver to my backpack
Yeah.
and it not be a problem. So
Yeah.
it's like, in hindsight, like you were talking about, a crossbow is also heavier. So like that's going to be extra weight that I'm carrying around versus the bow as well. And so I'm like, I don't know. In hindsight, I think I could definitely make a lot of changes to mine by just swapping to a bow and then I'll have an extra, $150 to go buy some
Yeah.
other shit.
Yeah.
At the moment, though,
Is there also risk of humans? No, I would say for all intents and purposes, not really. I mean, everybody's kind of in a panic trying to fend for themselves. There's not really.
well,
I
you're talking
wouldn't
about right
say.
away or long term?
I'm talking right away.
I'm talking long term. But
Well, I mean, long term, I'll have amassed more things to help better against malicious people. But I feel like, at least for the first 6 months or so, most people are either going to be, you know, helpful or avoiding. Nobody's really. There's not going to be any kind of.
I don't know, man. If you think of any of the shows you watch, or even just reality, like a lot of the opportunistic people are going to be coming out.
Well, yeah, but they're not going to be robbing me. They're going to be robbing stores. They're going to be, going to banks because they're stupid. Like, like.
Yeah, but when you go to get your supplies and you run into those people, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah, that's fair.
You're still going to have a risk of humans at every stage of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
The type that you're going to run into is going to change as time goes on. You're going to have more scared people in the beginning than you do in the end.
Yeah. At the end, you're going to have the people that have proven themselves already by surviving that long.
Yeah, I don't know if I would change the backpacks though, because not without testing it.
I mean, I can tell you, Amazon says right now that there were 50 of them bought, or over 50 of them bought just this week.
Yeah, because it's a cheap backpack. How many people bought it doesn't change my mind.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've seen this backpack being used frequently.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's a natural choice.
I'm just saying, I would like to really in an ideal situation, I'd like to wear both and make a choice.
Yeah.
Like, put 100 pounds of weight into each one, walk around the mall. It's gonna be like, okay.
What do you mean walk around the mall? You can barely walk around the mall in Dallas without fucking dying.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
with nothing.
I made it the whole time and chauffeured your ass around, so I don't want to hear it. Drove like 10 hours over that weekend.
You didn't have to.
Well, I mean, I kind of did, but unless you were going to drive my car.
Could have driven mine.
Could we all fit in there?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. But anyway. I don't know. God, that's crazy that there's a $40 backpack that looks exactly the same, though.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you think about a lot of the purchases people make, of like name brand versus not name brand, that kind of stuff, like tools, right? I mean, me and you always go back to tools. I don't even think I have a drink. I got a sip. There you go.
Another hydrate. All right.
The tools. We've talked about this a lot, and well, not really a lot. We've briefly crossed the subject, but I always like talking about tools because when I first started as a civilian mechanic, I didn't want to go into depth with tools. So I went with what I had and what I could afford. And I got a lot of like Cobalt and a little bit of Craftsman at the time. And unless I needed like a specialty tool, that was the only time I would get something off the tool truck and I would just buy it.
Yeah.
I never had a balance with the tool trucks.
Yeah.
And
I had a balance with every single one of them.
But it always kind of cracked me up because it's like some tools, like I've proven through, daily use of the tool, is the same damn tool. Like,
I
there's.
disagree. But I disagree.
I disagree. I'm not saying some brands. I'm saying some tools.
Yeah.
Like, if you have like an open end wrench, not ratchet wrench, just standard open end half-inch wrench. the half-inch cobalt wrench is lasting just as long as the snap-on open-end wrench. And
Okay.
but when you talk about ratchet wrenches, every other ratchet wrench does not last very long with a lot of pressure. It's not
Yeah.
built with the same quality gears inside.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, as a professional, speaking as a professional mechanic, if I can have ratchet wrenches, I'm not buying open-ended wrenches. I have a set that has both. It's got an open end on one side and a ratchet on the other.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, you were talking about, using open-ended box wrenches and it lasting just as long as a snap-on one.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm comparing tools. I mean, when I started,
Well,
ratchet
yeah.
wrenches weren't out, right?
Yeah.
Shit. So, but again, there's a lot of tools that are just fine, and it just depends on what. I mean, like another example is like the tiny electric impact wrenches. I got a Bosch one that I got at Lowe's that I've been using. Well, I used it every day there, and I'm still using it 10 years later.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is frivolous for me, but when it comes to electric tools, I'm Milwaukee. Period. If it's not Milwaukee, I don't really care.
See, me, it really always boils down to cost and longevity, like value of the product. So like the small little electric impact that I'm talking about is just, it doesn't have a lot of power. I'm not like breaking lug nuts off of a fucking tire with it, but it was mostly used for like body work, and I've done a lot of things. I've also used it for things you're not supposed to. I built a fence with it, screwing wood screws into a fence.
Yeah.
Went through 3 fucking batteries on that motherfucker, and that thing was hot to the touch by the time I was done. But it did it, and it didn't break,
Yeah.
and I'm still using it. Like,
Yeah.
but then I watch people buy like the exact same size Snap-on for like 4 times the price, and it's just like, y'all are just crazy. And it's because people get in that mentality like you, like, no, I'm only buying Milwaukee electric drill, every type, every size. And it's like,
one of the things I can say, and I can say this because I have tested it, is you can take the same size, let's say DeWalt, small little handheld impact driver, and let's say a Milwaukee or a Snap-on, and the DeWalt is not going to break that lug nut. But the Milwaukee and the Snap-on, in some cases, might.
but that's the difference. Though that's the difference in that tool, not that brand. When you're talking about powerful enough to break a tight lug nut, then
No, I'm talking about the same tool from each different brand. Like
I know that's one. I'm saying a half-inch drive impact. If you're talking about a half-inch drive impact that you would use to take the lug nut off of a car, then yeah, certain brands are going to be better. But when you're talking about a 1/4-inch impact, there's not as much of a difference.
Right, but what I'm saying is like I said, I've actually done this. I had a bolt that I was trying to use my little electric, cordless drill, my 1/4-inch, like similar to your Bosch one. It would not take this bolt off, and I went and borrowed the Snap-on one from my.
But you said a lug nut. You're not taking a lug nut off of the 1/4-inch drive.
Yes, but you know what I mean is a bolt that's not coming off with my Milwaukee. I grabbed his Snap-on, and it took it off just fine.
Yeah, I know. That's the point I was getting at. I'm agreeing with you that with a half-inch drive impact.
No, I'm not talking about a half-inch. I'm talking about the same 1/4-inch version of my Milwaukee, but in a Snap-on brand.
You said
performed better than my Milwaukee tool.
Yeah. But is it performing so much better that you're going to go and buy the more expensive one?
I mean, if I'm using it every day, yes. As a
No,
professional, yes.
no,
Yes, I
that's a
am.
waste of money.
It wasn't for me because my tools are my money.
Okay, I was a professional too. Did you forget I was a mechanic for longer than you? You
Yeah.
act like I don't have a professional opinion too. I use
Yeah.
it every
Well,
day as
I'm not
well.
saying you don't have a professional opinion. I'm just stating mine.
Yeah, but I'm saying you said this one time that tool beat me, so now you're gonna
It
go and
wasn't
buy
one.
the better tool.
It wasn't one time. It was multiple occasions.
Yeah, see, I never had a problem with when it comes to quarter inch. Never had anything that my Bosch couldn't take off that somebody else's quarter inch could.
Well, I would use it. I would use it a lot for like taking out like seats and stuff,
Yeah,
and undoing seat brackets. And I would use this little quarter inch, and sometimes it just wouldn't break it loose, but the snap-on would.
hmm. The only thing I really saw like drastic differences was when it came to like half inch tools, both air and
Well,
battery
yeah, I mean,
operated.
I agree with you there. The difference is significantly larger, but in my professional experience, there are still differences between the brands of the same tool.
Yeah, the difference in the difference to me is when it comes to like the quarter inch drive, that difference is marginal enough, at least through the years I was using it, that I'm like, the rare occasion that I couldn't break it, I would just grab a manual wrench, break it, and then spin it off.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
I,
mean,
I wasn't going to go and buy a $500 snap on quarter inch drive over my $150 Bosch one, all because I had to use a manual wrench every now and then.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. The way that I saw it, at least my opinion on the matter was like, well, I mean, if I'm doing this for, you know, a majority of the jobs where I, try it with mine, doesn't work, oh, I got to go grab a manual wrench. Eh, Rather than just taking the wrench over there, zipping it off and being done with it, it pays for itself eventually.
Yeah,
you know?
well, it just depends on how often you're going into that problem. That's what I was saying. Like for me,
Yeah.
with the quarter inch, wasn't running into that problem. With other
Well,
tools, I was.
well,
And
this may help clarify a little bit of our thought process discrepancies here. Were you specialized into a specific area, or were you just kind of 360 doing everything?
everything from body to
Okay,
mechanic
that's
work.
that's the difference then, because I specified it in AC, electrical, and trim. So all of my work was very localized, if that makes sense.
And I was doing everything from brakes and axles to
Yeah,
valve cover gaskets
yeah, no,
to
for me,
taking all the panels off the door and taking the hood off.
for me, every third job required me to remove the fucking seats. So every third job, I'm having to try it with my quarter inch, not busting loose. Go grab a fucking manual wrench, bust it out. You know. So to me, it was worth it because I'm doing this all the time.
Well, yeah, well, you're doing the exact same thing with the tool all the time. I was using the
Yeah,
tool 20 times a day, every
yeah.
day, and maybe
No,
once a week I'd have to go grab a wrench.
my toolbox could work for every anything that you would need to work on the car. I had all the tools that you would need to do anything on the car, but it was also specialized, for my kind of work.
Yeah. I feel like my mechanic work was like my tech work now. Just never know what the fuck I'm doing. Just do it all. But that was also, I mean, maybe that's why it was harder for me to spend the money though too, because I
Yeah,
need
a
every
lot
tool
more.
for every
Yeah,
situation. So
yeah.
I can't afford to have $100,000 in debt to the Snap-on, man.
Well, I
Like,
mean, I made sure, like I said, I made sure to cut costs where I felt necessary. Like I didn't buy a full set of Snap-on things. Like a lot of my wrenches and stuff like that were Cornwall, or Cornwell. Like I
well,
rarely. I mean, my ratchet wrenches were fucking Snap-on. Period. End of story. But like I had all of the required tools to do anything you would need to do, whether it be emissions, bodywork, whatever. But the tools that I use the most were the expensive ones, 100%.
yeah, even to this day, like well, in my opinion, it's definitely changed a lot more as just a casual mechanic in the garage. Now I'm I'm more prone to go get something from Harbor Freight. Mostly because there's one 3 blocks down the road.
I mean, I find Harbor Freight useful for certain.
Yeah. It just depends on what I'm getting. But like recently, it was I literally needed to buy a ratchet just to adjust the timing on the truck in the garage.
Yeah.
I needed a longer ratchet, and I didn't want to go and drop $100 for a longer ratchet.
Yeah.
Even though I know this one I bought might not last very long, I was like, I'm also in the 10 years I've been doing things, I very rarely have ever need a
Yeah,
longer
you're probably
ratchet.
only ever going to use it 4 or 5 times ever.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the Harbor Freight one. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, I feel like I'm gonna. I mean, these days I don't fucking go to Harbor Freight for anything. Anything I can find at Harbor Freight, I can probably find on Amazon for the same or better price.
well, yeah. I
But
mean, I go there because they
if
do have a lot of good deals, and there's
yeah, I
one
mean
three
they have
blocks
good
down the
deals.
road. So I mean,
If I like we're in a pinch and I need to like a compression tester or something like that, like yeah, I'll go to Harbor Freight and pick one up. Or like a like a brake caliper depression tool. Like yeah, I'll go to Harbor Freight and buy that little kit. For $70 or whatever.
like I said, it's a little different for me. I think just because it's so close. So
Yeah.
like, I get those ads in the mail and look at them, and the Harbor Freight has a sale like every week. But
Yeah, I mean, I've got one. I've got one fairly close as well, but it's
yeah. But I also go there for like supplies. Like I'll get like a bag of zip ties and my box of gloves that I'm using for the 3D printer, sandpaper pads for the sander. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, when I was buying gloves, I was ordering them on it. Or actually, no, I was buying them off the fucking tool truck. They always had the gloves
No,
that I liked, the
well,
Black Lightning.
I'm not talking about gloves for mechanic work. I'm just saying, like I said,
Oh,
these are gloves for the 3D printer. I just need to
I'm
not.
talking about my rubber. I'm talking about my rubber
No,
gloves.
that's
Just my rubber fucking nitrile gloves.
yeah, that's different. Yeah, but those you want more. What's it called? What's the thickness called? The millimeter? Or,
Yeah, yeah,
like these were thin bullshit gloves,
yeah,
but they always have some stupid sale where it's like, you know, 40% off per box. So I'm like,
yeah,
all right, I'll go buy 3 boxes of gloves and I'm good for the next 6 months. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, surprised that like well, I mean, obviously I never really went to Harbor Freight before because I'd have to go all the way to Tulsa, and I'll just go to Lowe's or Amazon before I go all the way to Harbor Freight in Tulsa for some random piece of shit tool. But
Yeah.
but now that there's one here in town, shoot, I go there probably once every month or two just
Yeah.
for something or another. Like just recently, I got an electric pressure washer,
Oh, nice.
and again, it was like cost on Amazon was like X price, cost at Lowe's was X price, or I can go to Harbor Freight and boom, like $70
Yeah.
electric pressure washer. Fuck. The other day I got like I don't even remember. It reminds me of things like Home Improvement, where like there's a sale on one tool and then you come home with like 12 tools.
Yeah.
God, it was something like if you bought this one, then you would get. It ended up being like I only went there for like one tool and came back with like 3 like electric sanders. Like, haven't even taken the other 2 out of the box, and I bought them like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But it was like, well, if I buy them now with this one, it's X amount cheaper. Because I like to do woodworking. I just don't ever have the time or space to do it. So
Yeah.
I looked at those tools as like long-term investments. Like whenever I do want to do some woodworking, I'll have all the tools necessary to do it.
Yeah.
And again, that's another example of like, for the frequency that I'm going to be sanding things, I'll use a Harbor Freight sander.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of like that ratchet. The frequency I'm going to use that ratchet, it'll probably last me the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, but that's what always is interesting about some of the things on our list today was like, I know nothing about hiking backpacks. I just Googled and I thought, what's the toughest hiker there is?
Yeah.
Mountain climbers. I'm like, all right, what do mountain hikers use? And here I end up with this $300 backpack.
Yeah, that could be no better or worse than, my,
Yeah,
fucking $40 backpack.
but it's like it just makes you wonder, like, are these mountaineers crazy or is there something to it? And it's kind of like
Yeah.
when you think of like a non-mechanic looking at
I
Snap-on
mean,
prices, and they're like, oh my god, what is that made out of gold? And you're like,
I
no,
mean,
it's just better.
for me, I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of parallels, at least to mechanics. Like, it's expensive. It has to be expensive for a reason. There's got to be a reason why it's expensive. And it could go down to just the material used to make it, the kind of padding or foam that may be in it, what kind of technology they're using for like cooling or comfort. Like, there's all kinds of different things that they could be doing different and probably better than the cheap backpack. But fuck, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I mean, hell, you might
Yeah.
not even know till you go on a 10-mile hike with 100 pounds in the back of it. And
Yeah.
one of them, your back is breaking, you're drenched in sweat. And the other one, you barely broke a sweat and you feel just fine. You're like, what, we're quitting
Yeah.
already?
Yeah, exactly. It could feel like
Uh,
nothing's there. 100 pounds feels like, just carrying a regular school backpack or
yeah.
something. You're good. And that's likely the case. At least I tend to err in that direction. I try to trust price of things more so than maybe other people. I feel like if things are expensive, they're expensive for a reason.
But sometimes they're not.
Sometimes, yeah, you're right.
Like,
Sometimes you're not. Like when it comes to like wine, for example. Just because the bottle of wine's expensive doesn't mean it's good.
yeah. Or something more relevant to our community. You think about like computers. When you
That's
compare
also
like
true.
when you compare like Alienware to like iBuyPower,
Yeah.
and it's like I could spend a fraction of the money. Or no, better. God, what was that one company? I wish I could remember it. Not that I go bashing other companies, but I found this one company that like blew my mind for the cost of their computers. Where like I thought Alienware was bad all these years, and this company was selling like the equivalent of the Alienware for like double the price.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is buying these computers?
People who don't know any better, man.
Yeah. I mean, I even said the same thing about the company you were working for, where I'm like, not that yours were overpriced. It's just we're in a PC gaming community where
Well,
well, no, hang on, I'm just saying, we're in a PC gaming community. I talk to PC gamers on a regular basis. I play games 40 plus hours a week on all multiplayer platforms. A lot of them we actually like talk to the people you're playing with, like Ark and 7 Days and things like that. And so I feel like over the last 10 years, I've talked to hundreds of PC players.
yeah.
And out of those hundreds, I've only ever heard of a couple of them buying computers.
Yeah,
And
I
the,
mean, you have to think about when you're going to buy a pre-built computer. You have to really consider the audience, the metric, because I think anybody who has the knowledge to build their own PC from the ground up also knows that it's cheaper to do it that way, right?
yeah,
The pre-builts are for the people that don't have the knowledge to do that, and they're going to end up spending a little bit more money because unlike what we do, for example, like the company still has to make their money, they have to pay their
yeah,
people, there's a lot of factors involved in that that's going to raise the price by a margin. um, so I mean, for a lot of people that don't have that knowledge, don't maybe not have the time, or want to put in the effort to learn that kind of stuff, it's just easier to spend maybe the extra $100 or $200 and just have it all done for you, and
yeah.
it's be
No,
plug and play and be the simplest process.
I get that part. my point is, it's amazing to me that there's enough people out there to make enough money to pay all those people, to pay your building bills, to be able to expand, everything that a growing company needs. And that's the part that kind of blows my mind with every PC building company out there. And it was when I see something like I Buy Power, I'm like, okay, well, that's a, I don't know, like a family name, but it's in the PC gaming community, almost everybody's heard of Alienware and I Buy
Well,
Power.
yeah, I mean, but you also think about it, right? Like the gaming, the quote unquote gaming PC is still comparative to computers on the whole relatively new. Like before this whole gaming PC thing started, like all of the PCs you bought were pre-built. I mean, all the Dells, the fucking gateways, the Apples, the whatever, they were all pre-built. The HPs. I mean, so a lot of this knowledge and a lot of people that have the skills to design and build their own PC, it's a comparatively to the rest of the populace, it's still a pretty small community when you really think about the big picture.
Yeah, it's just still, I'm just saying, it's still surprising that when you're thinking about it, you're only making a profit of say $200 per computer.
Yeah,
like you got to sell a lot of computers.
Yeah, you do.
And that's what's crazy is that you would think that based on the amount you would have to sell to make a reasonable profit to continue growth of a business, that I would run into more people that have bought pre-built computers.
Yeah.
That was the only point I was getting at. Just I feel like I have a pretty large network, and I've only maybe heard of 10 out of a couple hundred. But granted, not everybody talks about it.
Yeah, right. That too. I mean, believe it or not, a lot of the streamers that we watch and content creators that we like, they use pre-built PCs.
Well,
there are not very many of them that build their own.
Yeah, because they're getting them given to them.
That's not true either.
Well, the big ones are.
I mean, some of them, yeah, sure, maybe, but that came because they, provided thousands of dollars worth of sales and profit to whichever company is giving it to them, right? Like, it's a lot more common than you would think.
Yeah, well, and again, I mostly base that around the people I play games with, or the people I hang out with in real life. We're all like budget ballers.
I mean, you could. I could tell you the customer flow of my company. I mean, I can't legally, but I've seen the numbers. It's there's a lot of people that buy them, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, that's what I'm saying. Like, my point of that was it was crazy how you got these big names like I Buy Power and Alienware, and then there's probably, I mean, hell, there might be 1,000 for all I know, but there's plenty of smaller fish out there, like the ones that you came from, that are also pumping out enough computers to maintain a business and growth. And it's like, it's crazy because you have like the company you used to work for, which sells a good value for what you're getting. Yeah. And then you have that company that I can't remember the name of that's selling the shit for like 2 times the price of Alienware, and they're still in business. And it's like, like how are all these companies in business? Like, because I look at it like almost kind of like the Walmart versus local shop owner.
Well, I mean, you also have to think too. Like, there are a lot of people that these bigger companies that sell these way overpriced PCs are also much larger companies, so they have a wide influence. So people will see that their favorite content creators or their friends or whatever the case may be are just they're not really doing any research. They're just taking what they see, and it's like, oh, I like that. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And so they just buy. They don't really care. They want that one, and that's what they want.
Yeah. Which comes back to what you were saying earlier, is not everybody has that knowledge, and because that's what I have run into amongst the community of people that I've talked with, is they're like, oh, I'm thinking about buying a new computer, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna build one? Like, well, no. Like, Like, what? And like me as the person with the knowledge, it blows my mind. Where it's like, hang on,
Yeah.
hang on. Like, don't waste your money. I'll help you. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, but I guess I never thought about that. It's kind of like, oh, God, there's another reference to that. But like, I get it. If you don't have the knowledge, you're like, I'm just gonna go buy a computer. Like you're gonna go buy anything else. I don't know how to build a washer and dryer. I'm gonna go buy one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I do want to open up to the chat real quick if there's anybody still watching. If anybody saw our social media and put their $1,000 bug out bag list together, if you do have a list, post it up in chat. Let us know. We'd love to go through it. So
yeah, we can review them next week.
Yeah, or I mean, we are kind of running out of time, but we can definitely review them next week.
Yeah,
we could probably get through maybe one of them before we have to, cut it off. So if anybody has one,
pick our favorite one.
Yeah.
But yeah, but speaking of that, we are 2 minutes past now. So before we go too much further, put that out there for maybe our regulars like Ben and Gert want to put together a list, or even Shelby behind you.
Yeah, I did tell her to put one together. I doubt she did.
Figure out how many Harry Potter products she needs to put in hers.
Probably too many.
Yeah. She's got the Harry Potter fire starter, the Harry Potter water bottle, Harry Potter backpack. Hey, she'll still have the same stuff. It'll just be themed. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go. And probably, $20 to $30 more than anything else you'll find.
Yeah. She's gonna have a quarter of the items, but they're all gonna look cooler, right?
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. Is how good you look.
Yeah. You're not gonna get robbed as long as you look cool.
That's right. If somebody thinks you're a powerful wizard, they're not gonna fuck with you.
That's her weapon of choice in the apocalypse. A wand.
I'll take my wand. I'm gonna take my plastic lightsaber here behind me.
Yeah. What have I got? I think I have that inflatable Quake Champions gun.
Yeah, I've got that.
I think that's the only fake weapon I own. I can't even. Yeah, dang, surprisingly, this is the only thing. I'm looking around at all my nerd stuff. I literally don't have. I think the next closest thing to a weapon I have is one of my juggernauts is holding a gun in his hand.
And you've got a small resin print of Frostmourne. You can carry that around.
Yeah, I got my letter opener Frostmourne. I don't even know if I. No, I gave it to you, didn't I?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I don't even have that.
I thought you printed one too.
Well, I printed one for the veteran in Florida, and then I made you one. No, that's all I got. Shit. Not to make me a weapon, no.
I was gonna say you need to stock up on some fantasy weapons, man.
I need to make that life-size Frostmourne. That's what I need to do. That's why I need to get the FTM printer going again. So I guess at the moment all I got is an inflatable Quake Champions gun, but I'm not getting much.
I have some news. I do have some news in regards to 3D printing. I almost forgot. I have one confirmed customer and one potential customer. One is confirmed. They have not donated monetarily, but they did buy an entire roll of filament for the particular print that I'm doing. I'm doing for any of you that are familiar with Tears of the Kingdom, there's a device that Link carries that has these ancient, what's called Zonai batteries. It's like a capacitor pack, essentially. And so one of my friends wants me to print that for a cosplay piece that she's doing. And it required because you can put lights inside of it and things like that, it required a translucent filament for this print. So she bought an entire roll of translucent filament for me to print this. So that's one job that I've got going on the printer. It's going to be a couple of days worth of printing. I mean, the first major piece of it is 11-hour print on itself. And then the potential customer is I'm going to prototype a couple of different things just to see what's going to work the best for the application. But it's a line sinker, so it's for fishing. So essentially, what it is, it's a little thing that you tie onto your line that when when the boat is trolling along the lake or whatever the case, this line sinker, this device pushes the line down into the water. And so I'm gonna print a couple of test ones and with a couple of different filament types, a couple of different infills, just to see which one's going to be the strongest and most durable for the application, and then we may get a fairly decent order of those in for a startup business, which is going to be pretty interesting. So that'll be cool.
Cool. Well, you should think about setting up like a camera to record your printing.
Yeah, I've thought about it.
You can either stream it or post it on the YouTube.
Yeah, I have the camera. I'll have to probably 3D print a little mount for it, but yeah, it's a thought.
Well, hang on, Ben, before you go, I wanted to see what you were talking about. I don't know where you posted it at. Did you post it this week? Or are you talking about last week?
I think he posted it last week.
In the Discord?
Yeah, in the Discord.
I know he posted something in the channel, like the...
Yeah, the Urumi, the whip that's also a sword.
Yeah, so like he posted a whip in the stream, not the Discord.
No. He posted in the Discord in the Gamer General chat. He posted a video.
Oh, a video. Oh.
Yeah, he posted a YouTube video talking about
this. At a time when the average sword is about 2 feet
I watched that
long,
video. It reminds me of an anime
using a
character. I
weapon
can't
with
quite
enough
remember
which
his
is why a
name, but he
person
was
had
in
to achieve
Bleach. If any of
mastery.
y'all watched Bleach. I'm trying to remember his name, but he used Renji from Bleach. He had a sword that was kind of like a whip sword. It was pretty cool. In the anime, it was a solid sword, but when he activated it, it turned into like this big giant whip sword.
The Urumi.
Yeah.
No, that's not. I thought it was like. I think what he posted last week was actually like a cracking whip that had like knives on it. So, yeah, this is totally different.
Oh yeah, no, this is different than the guy that I was thinking about. Yeah, no, I did look at this one. Yeah, it's like a thin like sheet of metal that's like super sharp that you just like fling around.
Yeah, like it almost sounds dangerous as
dangerous
shit.
As fuck, dude. Yeah. But you can see there are some that have like multiple different like whips on it. It's got like 3 or 4 whips in the one handle, so you can really
fuck yourself up,
damage and do a lot of people. Yeah, yourself and others.
Yeah, like this one I'm looking at, it just looks dangerous, man.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, you wouldn't catch me carrying that fucking thing around. Hate to break it to you.
Yeah, like this guy here. Let me see. I'll share one last image before we go. Oh, that's way too big. Yeah, this guy. Like that just sounds.
I was looking at that picture.
Terrible.
Yeah.
That is. I don't know. I can't imagine that being an ideal zombie apocalypse weapon.
Could you imagine though getting like slapped by that and then having somebody just yank back with it with all those razor sharp? Man, that would fuck you up.
Now, seeing, I think the one you're talking about, like a single flexible blade. That's pretty interesting. Like, I wonder what material that's made out of. It's like
the single like flexible like sword blade.
Yeah.
So what I've seen and what a concept that I thought about that I think like may be pretty cool to work is like, because like in the anime, right, this guy's sword is like solid, and then he can like activate it and it like turns into this sword whip where it's like segmented like pieces of metal with like chain or rope or whatever kind of connecting all the segments.
Yeah.
And it's like it'd be kind of neat of a concept to like have like the string or the chain like go through the hilt, and then you just pull the chain taut, and it like locks everything together in place, and you've got a sword. And then when you want to whip it at somebody, you just unlock the chain. It like stretches out, and you can just fling it around. It'd be kind of neat concept.
There's a what is the dang video game? Soul Calibur. Cassandra from Soul Calibur has something like that. No, it's not Cassandra. I don't know. Anyway, there's a character in Soul Calibur that has that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, the what I'm talking about is you can look up Renji from Bleach.
Sword.
And you see his
here it is. So, who is it? Oh, Ivy. Ivy Valentine.
Ivy.
She has a sword that does that. It's like a whip sword.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for those wondering. Yeah. Nah, there's not really a good example of it. I was trying to think of like a side-by-side of like Solid versus the whip, but it's not a lot of easy to find images. But yeah, it's a whip sword.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
I've been at it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I thought about the Soul Calibur characters.
All right. I mean, that's going to end our stream, our podcast for the evening. Make sure, if you're subscribed, and you're Amazon Prime member, you can, use your Bezos bucks to give us a free subscription if you do so. If you are new here and enjoy the content, we do a lot more than just podcasts. We'll stream games and stuff like that. Every Monday night, Scriv does wonderful wrestling streams. Goat does his gameplays. He's been doing a lot of first impression gameplay, which is really interesting to watch if you're just looking to see interesting, cheap, shitty games on Steam and first impressions. It's a great watch, man. It's fun. It's entertaining.
And some of these are turning out to be great.
Yeah, and some of them are actually end up being good games. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Check out our website. Interact with us. We don't typically
come hang out in Discord,
but yeah, come hang out with us on Discord. You can find it on our website. You can find it on our Facebook. You can find it on our YouTube. You can find it down below the stream. But yeah, that'll be it for the night. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you for your participation, Ben and Crazy Quinn, and I hope you all have a great night.
Yep, we'll see you all next week.
Mm-hmm.